What's going on, everybody, and welcome back. It's been a long time. I used to do this thing called videos. I haven't done one in a long time, but I think today's a good day to do another one because remember way back when I did my Phanteks Halos Lux overview, I mentioned there was a cheaper version. Well, in today's video, we're going to take a look at that cheaper version and see, does it make sense for you, or should you stick with the more expensive Lux that's already inside of the case? Stay tuned. Now, another thing you may have noticed is that I'm using a different microphone today. I'm hoping that this works out. I'm going to try and make sure that it's as synced up as possible. I'm also hoping that I don't accidentally stop the recording. I'm using a portable recorder that is inside of my pocket. I'm really hoping that this works out, but hopefully I don't have to reshoot the audio, reshoot this video, you know. Anyhow, a few months back, I took a look at the Halos Lux and I praised it for its ease of use in terms of adding RGB to your case. If you wanted to use a pre-existing case fan, or you had a preference of fans such as Noctua or something along those lines. But it comes in at about 20 bucks, and so it can be a little bit of a costly purchase. But thankfully, Phanteks has made a slightly cheaper version of the Halos Lux, and it is, of course, called the Halos. Now, this isn't quite as robust on the feature set and does skimp out on a couple of things, but for half the price, it could be a good solution for somebody. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we get inside of the package and point out some of the main differences between the two products. So the main thing right off the bat is that, whoa, hey lights, the regular Halos comes in a plastic clamshell type of package, so it's not quite as robust as the cardboard box that the Halos Lux comes in. But, I mean, you can see what the product looks like. It looks pretty nice. Thankfully, it's the... Ooh, screws are coming out. Thankfully, it's the easy type of clamshell to open, so literally it just pops apart into pieces. So it's real easy to get into, and the actual product is right here. Now, initial impressions is, well, initial impressions are, well, it's plastic. Everything kind of just falls apart once you take it out, by the way. But it is plastic. Obviously, that is the main difference between the Halos and the Halos Lux. The Halos Lux is aluminum. The Halos is plastic, so it's a little cheaper. There's a little bit of flex, but it's not too terribly bad. LED ring feels a little loose, but it could be loose on that too. So that's the first big difference. Another difference between the two is the cabling. Now, on the Halos Lux, which is still inside of the case over there, you will get a sleeved cable. So it's a little bit more premium, it's a little bit nicer, works a little bit better. This is just a standard cable, which if you're going to be hiding the cable, that also really shouldn't matter too much whatsoever, but it is worth noting that this is not a sleeved cable. Much like the Halos Lux, this comes with the screws that you need. You've got 4 standard screws to go into the fan, but if you want to use this on a radiator, they do have 4 longer screws for you to use. Now perhaps the biggest difference outside of the product itself and the sleeved cables is the fact that there is no Rgb adapter included with the Halos. If you want to connect it to a motherboard, and this is a very important detail, and I mentioned this in the previous video, but I've still received a lot of questions about it. You need to have an Rgb capable motherboard to use software control, or an Rgb capable Phanteks case to connect directly there. Those are the circumstances that Phanteks says for certain that it'll work. I've got a dog laying on my bed, and I've got a cat in a litter box. This is why I don't film. And the 4-year-old. Anyhow, you need to have the appropriate connections to be able to make this product work, and those appropriate connections are an Rgb header on an Asus MSI Gigabyte type motherboard, or a Phanteks Rgb enabled case. Now, I have had people tell me that it should work with a standard 50/50 controller, but I don't have any way of verifying this. I have not verified it, and I'm not going to short out my system to do this. So my motherboard has an Rgb header on it. I connect it directly. The Halos Lux comes with that Rgb header. In fact, I have a spare one right here because the LED strips that I bought from Phanteks also come with an Rgb header. So you'll get one of these inside of the Halos Lux. You will not get it inside of the Halos. So for $10, you could connect it to a Phanteks case, but if you want to connect it to a compatible motherboard, you're going to need to get an adapter, and that's going to cost you about another $5 or so depending on prices at Amazon. So you're still getting it for cheaper than the Halos Lux, which is $20 right now, but you're going to get it for about $15. So for about $5 extra, you get the aluminum build, which is a little more premium, and you get the RGB header adapter inside right away. The other thing that I mentioned in that previous video was I wondered what it would look like. I had mentioned that with a white bladed fan, it would look a little bit more vivid. We've got ourselves that fan right here. I know people are going to look at this and go, hey, it's a high static pressure fan. You don't need that in the exhaust. That's a waste. That's an overkill. Calm your souls. Just calm your souls. It's my build. I know that static pressure fans are for radiators. I'm aware of this. Thank you for your input. I still... One, it was the cheapest white bladed fan that I was able to get from Phanteks right away on Amazon, and I didn't really feel like messing around too much. I just wanted to keep it simple. It's PWM. It's white bladed. It was like 15 bucks. Easy decision. In any case, side panel already off. I need to dust this thing out anyway today, so we might as well just do this and see what this looks like. I'm going to connect each of these fans. I'm going to unmount that fan. I'm going to connect the white bladed fan. We're going to install the, we're going to attach this guy to the connectors, and we're going to put them on at the same time, and maybe you'll be able to get a pretty good visualization of what the actual differences are between a dark bladed fan and a white bladed fan, as well as any visual differences between the two products directly. So let's get right to it. One fan reconnected. With that nice sleeved cabling on this guy. This is a Phanteks PH F140MP static pressure fan. Really solid, and I really feel solid. It's also a great way to test the daisy chaining. We're wasting film. Okay. Now here comes the moment of truth. I'm going to go ahead and log in. That's interesting. That is interesting that there's three of these little LEDs appear to be red, and I'm not really sure why that is. Okay, so it's been about a week or so since the mishap with the original Halos. And wouldn't you know it, Phanteks came through in the clutch. I emailed them about the issue. 24 hours later, within 24 hours, they had emailed me to send them a copy of the Amazon invoice. Within 24 hours of receiving the Amazon invoice, they told me that it was shipped. And wouldn't you know it, yesterday I had a box sitting outside my door, and inside the box was the replacement Halos, and it works. So right here, you could see the original. This is the Halos. This bevel here gives it away. The Halos has a bevel, has the bevel. The Lux does not have a bevel on it whatsoever. And we've pulled the fan out. We're going ahead and doing another test again, and you can see really clearly, even in the camera, the differences between the two, how much darker this is versus how much lighter that is. But this is to reinforce the idea that when you have a working Halos, and if you don't, contact Phanteks and they will take care of you real fast, you get a pretty good effect. Now, if you were to put this into your case, you would probably be the only way you'd be able to tell that this was different was with this bezel. So that bezel kind of gives it away. Other than that, though, I don't think you'd really be able to notice much of a difference. Now, I like the white bladed look. I think it looks much nicer. But if you like the more subtle look, then this is the way to go. Obviously, it will work. So I just wanted to take a minute And one, thank Phanteks for coming through in the clutch, because they certainly did. And to actually show you what the finished product would look like. This is the Halos. That is the Halos Lux. In summary, the biggest differences are all aesthetic. This is plastic. That is aluminum. This is a non-sleeved cable. The Lux has a sleeved cable. Additionally, the Halos Lux comes with the Rgb adapter, which I still have right here. And the regular Halos does not. So if you have a Phanteks RGB enabled case and you're not really interested in software control, you're okay with the controls that come through with the Phanteks case itself, grab this guy. 10 bucks, it'll look great. And if it's on the radiators up top, or if you have an AIO or you have fans that you're not going to really be looking at, you're not going to notice the appearance anyway. It'll give off the light that you want to give, and it's going to do the job without any issue. If you have the Asus Gigabyte MSI compatible motherboards with the RGB header, you could still get this guy for about 5 bucks. Brings your total cost to about $15 before tax. That's still $5 cheaper than the Halos Lux. So it really, whether you choose to go with the Halos or the Halos Lux, it's going to come down to aesthetics. Do you want the premium look, or do you not care? Because it's not going to be visible anyway. So that's a look at the differences between the Halos and the Halos Lux. Again, big thanks to Phanteks for getting a replacement out when I had the issue with the lights up on top. As you can see, I've changed the colors in that time span anyway, because yesterday was St. Patrick's Day. Figured I'd go green since I don't have any green shirts. And I wanted to get this video done. I wanted to do it correctly. And I wanted to show that if you have an issue, I felt this was a good opportunity to show if you have an issue, Phanteks will take care of you. They certainly took care of me. Give it a look, give it a try. I'll have links to both the Halos and Halos Lux in the description below, and you can make up your mind which one you want. I'll also include a link to the Rgb adapter as well if you need to take a look at that. Another thing worth mentioning, I have the Phanteks LED strips inside of this case. Those also come with the Rgb adapter. So if you want to get the strips and the Halos, you're covered. Just something worth thinking about. That's going to do it for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. I may have something interesting coming up in a future video. We'll see. I'm still pondering this possibility to come up. As you know, anybody who is under a certain criteria, I think it was 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of viewing time, has lost their partnership status with YouTube. I am no longer eligible for monetization. So please take a minute and consider jumping onto my Patreon page and throwing some support there. It's not necessary. It's not going to improve or change what I do on this channel too much unless I get a ton of support. But it's a nice way to show that you want to help me out in this time of monetization that I was never going to really receive anyway. Additionally, I am raising money for St. Jude for the Warrior Dash that is coming up in July. I will have a link to that in the description as well. Consider contributing to that. It's for St. Jude. It's for the kids. Think about it, won't you? Thank you. That's all for this video. I will catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.